Welcome back, fellow travelers. I was checking out this article right above, and I thought it'd be actually a good idea just to talk about it since it's something that's uh, fairly important when traveling. A lot of people assume for some reason that airports are sanitary places. So I'm not going to go and read the whole article. Essentially, what it is that a passenger back in 2015 contracted a type of bacterial infection while on a flight between Japan and Germany. You might be like, oh, that's pretty rough. These things are actually pretty serious. In my case in point, I was working with a colleague who she stubbed her or slammed her knee against something, and she went and rubbed the area that she had hit. Like most people do, you hit something, you start to rub it. And she had been working all day, touching the keyboard and all that. Long story short is she ended up having to have emergency surgery to save her leg because she had contracted some sort of infection from just touching the open wound. Because there was like a small, like sometimes when you hit your knee or your shin, there's like a bit of skin that comes off. Well, from that bit of skin that came off and her touching that area, she almost lost her leg. And this is because people are traveling from all over the world. You don't know what kind of conditions they're in as they're traveling. You don't know what kind of diseases they might be carrying. I remember one time I was doing a connecting position at the airport, and a few days later had gone out that somebody that was connecting from Paris, I think like on an Air France flight or KLM, one of the two, might not have been Paris. I know it was Paris or Copenhagen, one of the two. And it was later discovered that this person had an extremely contagious disease that they were flying with. And I remember I was working that day and I was working international connections, and I'm like, oh my God, like, did I contract something? Needless to say, I didn't. And I don't recall of hearing anything else after that. There wasn't really an outbreak. They found the person. But regardless, it just goes to show that when you're at the airport, your best thing that you could do is to keep yourself, keep your hands to yourself. Don't go touching anything. You have kids that they're rolling around on the ground, or like they're grabbing the rails and like sliding all the way down. I try to touch nothing when I'm in the airport. I'll sit down. I'll make sure that my hands. If I'm touching anything with my hands, I am going to the washroom and then washing my hands afterwards. Some people use the travel antiseptic. Is it called antiseptic? That the antibacterial wipes. Those are also a good way of keeping yourself clean. You don't want to overuse the sterilization, because then you end up killing off the good bacteria. That's neither here nor there, but just really keep in mind that when you will be flying and you're at the airport, it's not the most sanitary place. Sure, it looks clean, but you have people from wherever that are touching it, sneezing on it, doing all kinds of stuff. I've had some absolutely disgusting stories that I could share maybe in a different video about my witnessing like the most disgusting things happening at the airport. Another thing is touching on that is do not jump into the wheelchair. Sometimes you might get to a gate and there's a wheelchair that happens to be left behind. Do not get into it. Not because, it's wrong to get into a wheelchair or maybe the wheelchair's needed somewhere else. Just for the fact of wheelchairs are incredibly dirty. I know that when I was working at the airport, I don't ever think I saw those wheelchairs getting cleaned. Ugh. So, a friendly reminder, short video, keep your hands to yourself. If you're going to need to touch anything, make sure to wash your hands. Wash your hands before you get on the plane, because you will be most likely eating if you're not flying within North America on board the aircraft. If you go to a restaurant in the airport, wash your hands. Wash your hands. Keep your hands clean. I don't think you need to go in there with gloves and like a bubble boy suit. You'll be okay, but just walking around and being in the airport and sitting down is fine. But as soon as you start touching everything, you do run the risk of who knows. Who knows? You can catch something from anywhere in the world. Not meant to scare you, meant to inform you. Hope that helped. And until next time, good gaming. Or good safe travels. That's actually what I should be saying. Safe travels. Oh.